Today is November 21st, and the Yankees need starting pitching. And we're going to talk all about their options. Is it Yamamoto or bust? Huh? Yeah?
Talking Yanks with John Boy, Jake. Recaps galore, weekly awards.
Stat lines and steaming hot takes.
Get your Yankees news from these two fine dudes. It's time for Talkin' Yanks. Talking Yanks with old John Boy and Jake. Talking Yanks with old John Boy and Jake.
Hello and welcome to Talkin' Yanks, episode 975, and it's brought to you by SeatGeek. And if you get the SeatGeek app or go to their website and you just go look around, find a venue that's hosting, some show you want to see, sporting event, the theater, anything really. They got a ton of stuff, over 70,000 events every night that you can go to, and you can purchase your ticket knowing it's good value or bad value. Use code YANKS to get $20 off said purchase for your first purchase.
I've got Dolphins and Jets at MetLife, NBA in-season tournament, and Moulin Rouge. Those are my three recommended.
Trifecta.
So that'll be one day.
That'll be one day. Thank you for tuning in to Talkin' Yanks. My name's Jimmy. His name's Jake. Producer BBD in the corner. We have a long list of high-end starting pitching options if the Yankees were to go get one. And then the question, is it Yamamoto or bust, which is on everyone's mind. And thank you very much for subscribing to the YouTube channel and helping us get to our milestone that we are really desperate to hit.
It's big.
Jake, how do you do?
James, Davis, everyone, gobble, gobble. Huh? How about that?
I'm not here for living. I'm here for Thanksgiving. Gobble, gobble, gobble. Fat turkey I am.
Dead. I'm excited for this because there are some fish in the sea. Sometimes I feel like we're reaching and grasping a little bit. Obviously, there's options that are more fits than others. Yamamoto, I'm excited to see what we found. We've already found one thing Jimmy really likes. Note that down for Jimmy really likes this segment. And there'll be other things not as well liked, but interested to look into him a little more. And then, I don't know, man, even that, I was going to say next tier, but they might not be next tier. Like Monty's peaking, although we doubt the Yankees will do that. You got a Cy Young winner. A couple other really good fits, and even there's 4 impact trade options, IMO, that you wonder how far the Yankees could get involved in that. And, Cashman likes killing 2 birds while getting stoned sometimes, so that could lead to a starting pitcher and a reliever. That could lead to a starting pitcher and an outfielder. Ryan McMahon, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. And yeah, the pitching situation is a more fun deep dive than the free agent offense hitting situation, which we already did. You can go watch that episode if you want. But this is more exciting, and it is a little weird because the Yankees have some ex-lovers on this list. And that makes the if you are the Braves or the Red Sox, the list is maybe more exciting because there's
just knowing
or the
where
Rangers,
the Yankees stand with a lot of these guys.
There's just more Cubs. There's more possibilities out there.
Tier 2, all but 2 of them, you kind of can immediately eliminate.
Yeah, I think right away, Gray, Stroman, and Monty are not even, and maybe they bring Monty back, but I don't think they would, and I don't think they're going to go after Stroman, and I don't think they're going to go after Sonny Gray. So that really eliminates half the field just by past relations.
I think Stroman's out because he's had some public, hates the Yankees stuff.
Yep.
The other guys we're running a business here. No bridges were burnt.
Sure, I just can't see it happening.
We've seen it, right? I mean, I know you have to go back a few years, but Javi Vasquez, Wasn't there another one?
Yeah.
Did Evaldi leave and come back? Or
Evaldi didn't come back, but obviously not. Though the other two aren't impossible, but we all would be surprised if Monty or Sonny were back, right?
Yeah, I would. Monty less so than Sonny. I'd be surprised if they went to Sonny. But be cool. He's pretty good.
Let's get into it.
Sonny would really have to want it back. Would want to have to come back. We're into it. You want us to go Yoshinobu?
I think so. I think that's the guy. That's who
He
everyone's talking about.
he got posted, so he's got a 45-day window to negotiate with teams before signing. Usually, they go around and they chat with a lot of teams. He said he wants to sign in early December. That's what Joe's McFly told me.
Mm-hmm. The one article I read, like he's not specifically in like a rush to get it done quickly. I think he wants to be wined and dined a little bit and do the experience.
Yeah,
but that could be winter meetings, which is early December and in 2 weeks.
I think what beat
so.
reporter Joe's McFly told you is he's meeting with teams in early December. And I think he just said he's not planning on going to winter meetings and he doesn't have to meet with your team in your city. So I don't know. I'm interested to see the next steps with that because in the 45-day posting window, which happened this morning, if you get 10 days to December, we're down to 35 days, math pod. And yeah, I'm interested to see, is he going to start doing the tour? What's he about? Because I think the only thing we did see, was it him or was it the other Japanese pitcher? There was one of them was golfing with Lars Nootbaar.
It was him.
That was him?
Yeah, they're buddies. Their moms are friends, I believe, was the report or something
I
like
think
that.
so.
that
They
it?
played together, WBC. So given that, maybe I'm presuming which person's visiting the other. I think Yamamoto's in America.
That's fun.
Wherever Lars is hanging out.
Yeah.
playing
How's your
golf.
buddy Lars doing? He's good, Mom.
It's good. I don't know if
Are you going to play with him?
I don't
know,
think
the Cardinals.
I don't think the
stink.
Cardinals have ever signed a Japanese player from the NPB.
I don't think directly, at least.
I think they've had one Japanese player, Japanese-born player. So that would be new.
Man, I'll tell you what, if there's ever a time, they need pitching.
Yeah.
I know they're a team that hasn't been rumored too much, but
According to JapaneseBallPlayers.com, the Cardinals have had So Taguchi on their roster, and he's the only
him.
Japanese-born player to play for them.
all-time name.
Yes. And did they grab him? Yes. But he wasn't a big one, I guess.
He came over at 32.
That's a few moons ago.
2002, yes.
Third Japanese-born player to win a World Series after Hideki Arabu and Tadahito Iguchi.
I guess he didn't get posted.
He might have been like a straight-up free agent with the amount of service time he had. The system was also
Systems
different
changed
back
a
then.
lot.
It's a lot simpler now.
Yes. Of the biggest postings, I was interested in this and the biggest contracts and pitchers because Beeps kind of said like, well, the pitchers that are hyped up have really lived up to the hype that come over. The ones that are kind of like,
We're told they're going to be an ace.
yeah, and maybe they're not aces, but they're
They're really good.
good starting pitchers. Yu Darvish, the Rangers grabbed him back in 2011. He's been pretty good. Dice K, I don't remember him being good. He really wasn't, but he was also unhealthy a lot, like injuries plagued him. But he is, I think. Actually, hold on.
He's got a couple seasons in
Kiyagawa
there, right?
was the worst. He's like the ultimate terrible signing. Kiyagawa,
Right, but
and he got $26 million was the winning bid, which is the third highest ever from this system. But Shohei's been good. Kenta Maeda, MLB career. Tanaka, MLB career. And Senga was good last year.
Yeah. And like even Senga's like, he wasn't even that like crazy tatted. Like we weren't told like ace. We were told like quality starting pitcher. And he blew that out of the water with his performance this year. I think finished 4th in Cy Young.
and I know
But
it's going back, but if you're really doing the history of it, it starts with Hideo Nomo, who kind of broke it all down. He was really good. So, yeah, I think there was a period in the middle there where, a couple of the guys came in hot and it was like, oh shit, let's do this. And then there was a little bit of okay, not everyone, but I think it's starting to trend back that way, man. The talent.
The hitters is always a different thing, which is
Yeah.
what we talked about when like
And
Suzuki
relievers.
came over, and relievers usually are like 30 in their end of their NBP career. Kiyagawa was the biggest bust of like the expensive promised pitcher.
He's
but
the
for
number
the most,
one.
but it's a pretty decent track record of you're going to get MLB innings out of this dude. I think he's the only one that didn't give MLB innings.
He's the only one that's like mid-20s when he comes over, and we thought he was going to be good, got the hype, and he full flopped.
Yeah.
And he happens to be a Yankee, so he's at the top of all of our minds.
It's true. Bummer. Anyway, so I'm a little more high on him just because how high everyone is on him and the track record of that. And people are really high on Yamamoto. They think he's going to get $200 million. They think he's going to break Tanaka's contract, which was the Yankees, by the way. 7 years, $155 million. I think it's going to be 9 years, 200 something, I believe, is what the guess is.
That's one of the guesses. A lot of Athletic, ESPN, Fangraphs are thinking 7 years. MLB Trade Rumors, who got it right last year with Senga, has 9. But we were in the office yesterday doing a mental exercise of what pitchers have gotten 10-year contracts. And I think Max Manus dug up one guy from the 60s that got 10 years for like $2 million. So for me, and we're about to say all the good and all the stuff that should make you believe in this guy wherever he lands. 9 years for a guy that hasn't pitched an inning of Major League Baseball. I don't see that happening. I could see 7 or 8. Like I could. He's young, because that's the other thing. Young pitchers don't normally hit free agency like this. But he is 25 years old, and everything you mentioned about kind of recent track record in comparison to some of the successful Japanese pitchers that have come over is there. So yeah, he's kind of the most hyped pitcher coming out of Japan.
Like, on the note of like the contract projections, I think how it's gotten to 9 for a lot of places is like similar to like Garrett Cole's free agency. Like the starting point was 7, so the market sort of dictates like, all right, well, kind of everybody's going to offer 8 if they really want. Whichever team's willing to give the 9th gets them. It just takes one team to do it.
Does this do anything for you, Jake?
Do opt-outs,
too. Right now of active players, Garrett Cole is the longest for starting pitchers with 9-year contract, all considered. And then the second is Kenta Maeda, who signed that with the Dodgers when posted. It was 8 years with an option, I believe. So that is 9 years. So I do think that with options and funny business that they could get to 9 years. I also think there's going to be opt-outs. Like he's going to want an opt-out after maybe 3 years.
If after 3 years he has an opt-out, he's sitting free agency again at 29.
Yes, I think, yeah. So I think he's going to want an opt-out around 3 before hitting 30. So after the second year, after the third year, he's going to want an opt-out if he really has, his say in negotiation here.
Yeah, I know the Maeda contract isn't looked upon fondly, and that's by like their camp, and it changed a lot of the like rules around the Japanese posting and stuff like that. So, but yeah, I don't know. It's in play, and that's the thing with contract creativity. You can go anyway with it. The dude could have a 2-year opt out. The dude could have whatever. But I don't personally think you'll see a 9-year listed when that contract comes out, but I could be wrong.
You want to talk about him as a pitcher a little bit? His repertoire?
I guess as we go into this, I almost want to split it into like a good and a bad, or like what we like, what we don't like. And I guess if you're mentioning repertoire, that I think is probably one of the things that has people the most excited, because it's supposedly a good fastball, mid-90s. He can reach higher. He's got a low release point due to his height, but we're going to keep height out because that could be in another segment. Splitter, put away pitch. We love a good splitter, but, Tanaka had a good splitter. There's some concerns because they do use a slightly different baseball over there. He's got a big curveball. It's upper 70s with high spin, which I think there's some Yankees discussion there because I feel like they kind of went away from coaching that out for a little bit. And he's got a cutter. And when I saw that, I was like, ooh, that's some Yankees porn. And I think what's impressive is he throws all these pitches for a strike. If you ever listen to David Cohn or Paul O'Neill on the broadcast, they talk about the importance of pitchers throwing their pitches for a strike. He threw all 4 of his pitches for a strike 65% of the time, and there is no MLB pitcher that threw 3 pitches for a strike that frequently. So, again, there's a lot to dive into there. There's probably some adaptation that you can't be constantly in the zone with your pitches at the MLB level like that. But the fact that he can shows a little bit of why he was so successful over there.
I like the repertoire. It's very different for Japanese pitchers to have like a curveball. That's not maybe it's getting more common, but even in the articles that I'm reading,
think a decent number like develop it when they get here. Like Ohtani has one.
Yeah, Ohtani's also
best ever,
and like the biggest rarity. But it's mentioned in these articles because I was surprised. Like, oh, a curveball. That's usually not that common. It's a lot of splitter, a lot of changeup, and sliders, I guess. I feel like breaking balls are less. I don't know what's going on upstairs, but they're
today and yesterday they've been
doing construction up there. But yeah, his repertoire seems very big league, and I like that it's vertical and not horizontal. The horizontal difference in pitching is good for relievers, I think. But if you want to be a starting pitcher, you need to be able to use top of the zone, bottom of the zone, top of the zone with your fastball, bottom of the zone with your breaking stuff, have it play off each other to have multiple pitches. Where if you're a reliever, you can kind of go like a 2-seam fastball and a slider, and that's more you're playing on the horizontal plane than the vertical plane. But he is a healthy starting pitcher who makes starts every year and pitches deep. Like the innings are there, and he holds his strikeout percentage throughout the game. So first time through, second time through, third time through, it's all very similar. And he's able to do that while pitching deep in the game. So it's good. The biggest, negative is just the unknown. Like, how will it transfer? Will it transfer at the price point he's going to demand? Is there a learning curve? If I remember Tanaka, the first time he went through the league in 2014, it was like awesome. And then there was a bit of a learning curve where like, okay, it went down a little bit. Also with injury and shit.
Yeah. In like nature of pitching, just injuries can happen too. So
I also feel like, strike throwing isn't a common. A lot of Japanese pitchers that have come over are more of the nibbling kind. Even Tanaka landed that place where like wanted to be perfect. Daisuke walked everybody and wanted to be like perfect with their pitches and find the edge of the zone more than I'm going to attack you in the plate. So I like that's a little different, which is cool.
Like American players that were playing in his league this year, like all of them are like, oh, yeah, he reminds me a lot of like playing in the States. It's a very American style of pitching, separate from like just the pitch mix stuff.
Would love to know more about the personality. Like, does that tie into how he got here? Because the thing that I found super interesting was he had kind of that traditional Japanese hesitation leg kick, and he got rid of it last year, and still went on to win their version of the Cy Young. So I wonder if he's, Ohtani is a sick pup. Like, if you remember the World Baseball Classic. And we'll see what he's about to do in his free agency, but you saw his intensity come out this year. Like, Ohtani always, and again, these are athletes, try to get in like elite athlete spot. Ohtani wanted to come over here and be the guy, and he's become the guy. It seems like this dude was on the same path, and now he's coming over as a 25-year-old. He's about to get $200 million, and it seems like he's tuned up his pitching to be an American style. So, it's exciting for Major League Baseball, and it's just a fact of is this the Yankees guy that Cash has been waiting for? And we know all about the scouting trip because he threw a no-hitter when Cash was over there, and it was during also the Yankees' bad times this year. So everyone was like, hey, maybe I'm kind of more excited for this guy. I guess the concerns He's not the biggest guy.
Small frame. That doesn't always it's harder to be an MLB professional pitcher if you're shorter.
Like last that long. Durability.
Yes.
Rarer.
Concerns.
And that's again, with some of my contract stuff before, I think that's got to tie in because sure, there's Stromans out there, and Pedro's arguably the best pitcher of all time, but a lot more outliers than the standard. Although Sonny Gray has a very similar build, and he just had a great year and also a free agent. So I don't know. I laughed at one of the scouting reports because they said he has fast arm, so that's huge. And the curveball itself, Jim, I know we were clicking around from different websites. The curveball looked unique. Something with the gentle leg kick, and it's a very over-the-top curveball. But yeah, I started spinning in Yankee land, which is probably unfair to myself. But, going back to, I know Davies, his own outlier, short pitcher, big curveball. But he had a very different release point with it that they had to address. If they signed Yamamoto, I would be so excited to see what they do with this pitch mix because, like you mentioned, there is a slider that he's thrown the least amount, and I think it's his most hit pitch. But we've seen the Yankees like to go towards that slider, but he also has the cutter. So I don't know. That's getting way too ahead of myself. But I don't know. This guy seems to have the goods, Jim.
I'm trying to get a personality check for you going on. It's tough. I can't find a lot. But I'm doing one more Google search for you. I Googled in Japanese, so I'm on Japanese Google right now.
Okay.
I Googled his name and then sexy.
Okay.
And nothing's coming up. I mean, Tanaka in this was
the only thing that came up.
It was like crazy results.
It was one of those Google auto populates.
I also Googled in Japanese his name and silly. Okay. And then his name and funny, the Japanese translations. This came up, done in the context.
Okay.
It's an interesting pose.
I've never seen someone take a picture with that pose.
No.
And I've seen a lot of pictures.
And maybe if he signs, we do that. I don't know if that means anything. 9? Is he representing 9?
We'd have to double check what that means just so we don't start an international war.
I'm doing it.
Oh, God. Blur that out.
And I also found this with a giant piece of bread, the shape of home plate.
Okay. See, I'm into that. I'm obviously into that.
Yeah. And that's all I found.
Home plate bread.
I mean, not to, compare to Tanaka.
Right.
When you go on to Japanese Google and you use Japanese characteristics and you search these things with Masahiro Tanaka's name, it's a gold mine. He was a stud since he was 18.
David Beckham.
He's awesome.
Dating a pop star. Spilling sex. And I don't necessarily need that. I liked it. But I need the pitching.
Okay.
I need the pitching.
Well, you're going to get the fielding, much like Tanaka.
This is Jimmy's excited thing.
I love pitchers that can field their position. Tanaka was very, very fun to watch field. I campaigned for him to get a Gold Glove a ton. And then he'd always have one game where he just botched to play real bad. And I was like, come on, Masa. But supposedly he's a very good fielder of his position as well. So that's good.
And part of that is because the motion's nice and easy. It really is.
Messina-esque. I don't know if it's exactly Messina's motion, but Messina had a nice, easy motion that set him up for fielding.
Yeah, I feel like Moose had a lot more of a leg kick, but yeah, they land.
Is he
lands
fully
in a fielding position.
Done with that leg kick, or is it he mixes them in now?
I think he just does the low rise.
They're depicting it in like it's done, and it's also wild because it's almost no leg kick now.
Yeah, it's a slide
It's
step.
very gentle.
It looks kind of like a glitch.
Luke Voigt hitting.
Oh, that was cool. Yeah, I'm excited. So the big question is it Yamamoto or bust? A lot of teams want him, not just the Yankees. A lot of teams are going to be able to fork over money for the one special signing, right? And that is, I think what the Yankees would be doing here, and they'd attack the trade market for bats, although they were just linked to the Korean outfielder as well. But I don't know if I believe that report. But
I'm sure they've looked in. It's their job.
My point is, I think Yoshinobu Yamamoto is going to have a lot of very similar offers from 5 teams around, and then he's going to go back, and one of those teams is going to have to make it even more special. And are the Yankees going to do that? Or if it's those 5 teams, does location matter to him a bunch? Or
the only report we've heard is he wants a big market. So it sounds like points for both New York teams and LA. But
so if they miss out, Jake, and also someone on the Yankee subreddit, I can find their name to give them credit. They made a list of if he doesn't go to the Yankees, but he goes here. It was like a list of heartbroken.
Yeah, I mean, the San Francisco Giants, who have been looking for their big fish, their owner has been super in on this guy.
They've been trying to give out money.
Never rule out the Dodgers. Never rule out the Mets. That's, sang in him. So there's other teams in on this that the Yankees could get beat, which, again, we're in a new era of Yankee baseball because part of their reputation was built on not being that when they wanted a guy. So we'll see. But yeah, I mean, a lot of people are hype on this guy. They think there's a chance he could be a top 10 or top 5 pitcher next year. And he's thrown, 164 plus innings the past couple seasons. And in the Game 6 of their Japanese World Series this year, he threw 138 pitches. His 133rd was a 98-mile-per-hour fastball. So there's a chance that this guy is the bee's knees. If he lands on the Yankees, we're going to get super hype on it. If it doesn't, there are other options. And like we said with his contract, however free agency plays out, some of these guys might not be bad options. They could be better options value-wise.
Yeah.
You got Yamamoto fever?
No, I don't know.
Okay.
I like the idea of if he goes to the Red Sox, I'll be pretty upset.
Sure.
It was the guy's name is Virtuous Fool on Yankee subreddit. He had, Red Sox Astros as tier 1 fuck. I don't know if the Astros would have me like that. In division would hurt. And then he also had the Mets. I don't want to care if he went to the Mets. That wouldn't bother me.
it seems
that would be a team
likely.
where I'd kind of be like, oh, cool. I get to watch him a little bit. He's on TV. You can check him out.
The upsetness would just be, not our team.
Not a Yankee.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be specifically upset about it being Mets. And looking at their team,
They might need him more than we do.
so they might be desperate.
Yeah, I guess the only shucks there would be if Sanga.
There is a history with Japanese players of seniority, and when they come to America, kind of wanting to be the guy. That's a thing there.
If Sanga and Yamamoto were really good, I would kind of be jealous. And again, old school Yankees, hey,
get guys.
That could have been us.
Yeah.
That could have been us.
Have we had two Japanese starters in the same rotation before? Kuroda and Tanaka never overlap.
I don't think they did.
I don't think they overlap, no.
If they did in America, it's somebody. It's one of them. Kind
What
of
about
a passing of the torch
when Darvish was
situation.
on the Dodgers? Was Maeda there? Was he in the rotation?
Let's see. Hideki Irabu in his Montreal
17 Dodgers.
years.
Maeda did started 25 of the 29 games he appeared in that year. So they shared a locker room.
Okay. Well, I want him, Jake. I don't know if I think the hitting market is a trade market, not a money market. And if they, at least on the impact level.
Can I say one thing?
Yeah.
Because I just got distracted, and then we'll bring it back.
Yeah.
I was clicking around Hideki Irabu, just seeing if he pitched with other international pitchers.
Yeah.
Texas Rangers, him and Chan-Ho Park. Chan-Ho Park's South Korean. Hideki Irabu saved 16 games
When?
for the 0-2 Texas Rangers. What a sport.
That's
What a
cool.
sport. Sorry about that.
That's awesome. On his off day, maybe?
Looks like that was the only year of his career he was almost all bullpen. He was their closer.
What was I going to say?
Next guys are more Yami.
I think you had a closing thought about generally wanting him. Hitting market for free agents is not good.
I think the Yankees can be the team that give him extra. It's just very risky if he's a bust. Right. I don't know if he will be. It just might be a learning curve, but I feel like he's going to be a top 5 MLB pitcher, so he's in the rotation. And then from there, you can improve. You can get to know the league more. And I don't think it stops them from finding impact players offensively, because I don't know if there's any out there that are free agents that are really like giant game changers
that like change their books.
I think if they want to and they need to, but I think to do that, it needs to be via trade market. So I'm not upset if they are like the highest bidder, if they go the extra year, if they do that. And in that case, I think I want them.
Yeah, you should want this guy on your team. I think the rest of free agency, and we kind of did this with Judge and Rodon, the Yankees still need a big offseason surrounding that. So you'd hate to hear, oh, we got Yamamoto, so we're limited elsewhere. And they just would have a ton of resources. Cole, Rodon, Yamamoto. I mean, those would have to be 3 of the top 10 paid starting pitchers, 3 of the top 12, right? Something like that. So, yeah, I mean, a lot of eyes would go back there when, again, the hitting still needs so much work. But
there's room for a starter of this caliber on every team.
I'm into talent. That's what I want on the Yankees.
And I guess one more thing to note, just because we haven't said it explicitly before we move on to the other options here, just every indication is the Yankees do really want him. Like,
right.
They seem very in. You never know for sure how exactly they feel, but they seem very motivated.
Brian Cashman doesn't go to Japan to watch a baseball game for a guy that they're openly liking to not do it.
Although I believe 2 other teams had
a lot. I think a lot of
teams were there.
Yeah. All right. So if they don't get him, he goes to your Mets.
Oh.
Where do you want them to turn? Are you interested in Blake Snell?
I'm interested in Blake Snell. He's a lefty starting pitcher. He just won the Cy Young. I told you guys if we wake up and Snell is a Yankee, that there's some serious Judge connections there. They've been boys from the start of their MLB career. You're getting a pitcher who just won the Cy Young. It is a unique pitching style. It'd probably be there'd be days that it's tough to be a fan because, I'll be honest, he walks the ballpark. He led the National League in walks last year while winning the Cy Young. But he can answer back with a strikeout whenever he wants it, and he's got unhittable stuff. He also has a playoff resume. Like, remember the World Series, Rays? He gets pulled by Cash. The rest is history. I think being a lefty at Yankee Stadium has its advantages when you're right. Again, Snell barely pitches to contact, so that may not matter at all. But you're getting a Cy Young winner. I would be very interested to see where that contract lands, just like Yamamoto, just like every player we're talking about. But you talk yourself into it because Snell has performed. 2 Cy Youngs. And the injuries, they're not like, I don't know. He's never, knock on wood, he's never had the Tommy John out for 2 years or real shoulder stuff.
What have they been? Do you know?
I can get there. Let's see. What about you?
I really don't know. I'd want to look more into his kind of spray chart. And I know he's, a strikeout walk pitcher. I wish he was more of like a sure thing because you're going to not get crazy innings. You're going to sweat out.
It's tough days at the office.
You're going to sweat out some games.
They don't pitch in the they don't play in the division that's most suited for what he does.
Yeah.
Ballpark wise, I found a page of Snell injury histories. I've never used this website before, but he looks like 18 and 19. There was a shoulder thing and then an elbow thing, and nothing arm wise since then, and nothing at all since 22. Just a couple adductors.
Yeah, I don't know. Snell's interesting to me. I wouldn't be upset to add him. I'd be curious. I was excited about Rodon, and I wasn't that skeptical of him, and I feel like I got. Like, he could be very successful signing still, Carlos Rodon.
First year,
but I was very excited about it, and then the more you see him, and the more you hear other people talking, you're like, other people were very skeptical, and I was like, why wasn't I? So I'm trying to be a little bit more of like, what could go wrong here? It's tough to pay a guy off of a Cy Young season because you're going to overpay. Even Garrett Cole, remember when he was, when they signed Garrett Cole, I said right away, hey, we're not going to get the Garrett Cole of the last 2 years. Now, sticky stuff might have helped if you were still use it. You're paying for what he just did. I don't know if you're going to get any singular seasons that beat those seasons. Does his last year's season beat it? I don't even think so. But
yeah, that last year.
But my point wasn't that means it's a bad signing. It's just I was trying to just like temper expectations. Like, I don't know if we're ever going to get a 1 ERA out of Snell at Yankee Stadium. But you're going to have
1 ERA.
one something. He was like 2 something. What was he in his Cy Young year? 217?
He finished 2.25 last year.
Yeah. Well, I meant like that low.
Yeah. The 18 Cy Young was 189.
189. That's what I thought. One of them was 18. Like, I don't know if you're going to get that at Yankee Stadium. You could get very good value, but you're going to have to pay for that.
I don't know if you are, though. Isn't that kind of the whole Snell discussion? Like, isn't that why we're doing it? And like Garrett Cole, although he got paid for his performance, but it was also his projected. It was his windup. It was everything else that it seemed like he was just hitting his peak as a pitcher. He was Cashman's white whale that he should age well. For free agency, you kind of get paid what they think you're going to do next. So hey, it's awesome for him that he's coming off that Cy Young, but it's. I think there's a reason Nola got done quick. I think there's Yamamoto fever. If Snell had a bad year last year, that obviously would have affected his free agency. He was really good. You wonder what's next. He just turned 30. Is there going to be a maturation in his pitching process? Or, is it a little bit of much ado about nothing? Like his last... he was pursuing a Cy Young, but his last 10 starts were 6 innings or more. So, like, I know even when we did our all-JM team, when we went through Snell's game log, it was like, okay, like this is better than what we'd expected. And now is that the Cy Young outlier year? What else comes with that? I don't know. And this is going to be my cop-out line when it comes to anyone. The Yankees are dearth of talent, lack of talent. So if you bring in Snell, a guy who just won the Cy Young, I'm going to be excited about that.
Yeah, I'll be excited. I don't know. I will be interested. Very, very high ceiling and no real medium. Like no level. If you look at his years.
You wouldn't say 2022 is a medium?
2022, 338, 24 games started, 128 innings. Yeah, I mean, the ERA is good, but not a lot of, under 25 starts and not a lot of innings. But yeah, the results are good. I don't think he's ever going to kill you results-wise. It's just you're going to have to use 4 relievers if that's what he's doing every night. That kind of hurt the Yankees this year. We had Clark do that.
Yeah, different performance from Clark.
Yeah, but even in his good stretch,
Snell's more of a
games.
lock to like. We feel good about what he'll do while he's out there, but we'll sweat our way there a little bit.
Yeah, just need the innings.
It's hard to imagine a Snell signing by the time it's over. So 7 years from now, it's over. Hard to imagine we don't feel strong about it one way or another.
Maybe I can't talk myself into it because I really just don't see it happening.
Yeah, that I think that does deserve to be said. He's a Pacific Northwest guy.
There hasn't been a ton of real rumors.
By the way, I will say, and this goes a little back to him being Tampa and just who his personality is. I think his personality is off the charts for New York City. I think he'd be beloved. I think he's a big don't give a fuck guy, that he'll go out and he'll do his thing. But, yeah, I think he seems like a West Coast cat, so that's, I don't know, if you've heard anything else in our tone, that's probably why. That would really be, if they sign Snell, I think, they're really sad about how much they lost out to Yamamoto, which would be interesting. Or it's like full-blown Judge is close to the GM.
The owner. But I think that's it. I think I just really can't see it happening, so I'm not letting myself like go to that place where I can see Yamamoto happening. And by seeing that it may happen, I'm talking myself into it, so I'm very excited about it. That's a me thing.
Apologies for the drilling, guys.
If you happen to hear
crazy.
any
I
crazy
don't know how much the mic's
amount of
picking it up.
drilling behind us.
It's got to be right above this room.
All right, so they don't get Yamamoto, they don't get Snell. What can they do? Where would who would be next on your list?
They don't get Yamamoto. They don't get Snell. Do we need to even say anything about Ohtani? That's a whole nother...
Hasn't even been fake rumors and not going to pitch.
That's a whole nother episode. I'll tell you a guy I like.
Tell me.
Erod. Eduardo Rodriguez.
Really?
Pitched in a lot of Red Sox-Yankees games. Lefty starting pitcher that would actually use Yankee Stadium the right way, to the deep part of the ballpark there. His numbers last year, $1.52, 3.3 ERA. And I think for me, because this whole discussion does have to turn into the rest of the Yankees offseason discussion, where Erod's contract is going to land compared to these other guys and the performance you may get, like value-wise, this could be a fine signing.
What's he projected at?
What's he projected to get?
Yeah. I don't even know the range for him.
Just clicked away. Free agent. Fangraphs has him, starting pitcher. I think they have him at like 3 years, 21 per year. 4 years, 19 per year. So 4 for 76. So think about the scale we're coming from. Yamamoto, $200 million. Snell, probably going to be in that 175 range. Erod, who I think the high-end upside is not there. But
he's really good this year when he pitched.
He performed. The whole Detroit situation is very interesting on its own. And he had his own stuff going on within that's all a little weird, so I'd want to make sure that's good. But otherwise, this is a guy that's thrown a lot of good MLB innings, and I don't know, shouldn't be scared to pitch at Fenway.
Yeah. You like him over Montgomery?
I just think it's more realistic, and with some of the contract stuff going on, Monty is at a peak of any time in his career. Monty could end up 6 years. He could end up Patrick Corbin range. That I think you could almost be taking half the salary risk for Erod, where you could get probably similar results.
I agree there on probably similar-ish results for half the money and years or whatever. But who would I rather if they were getting the same contract? I would rather Monty.
Love Monty.
Yeah, but they're not.
Yeah.
And Monty might end up lapping him when all's said and done. Neither of those two have a qualifying offer attached. I feel like
I just
say that.
I liked Monty when he was with the Yankees, and I like him now.
Yeah.
Monty.
Just because he is so
Your
consistent.
guy.
He's going to throw 30 games and have a mid to low threes these days ERA. And there's so much value in that.
And he's only gotten better since he left.
Yeah, and he's been good.
Been really good.
Last 3 years, he has started 94 games with a 3.48 ERA. 524 innings pitched. Like, he's been there. So he's also just funk. Like, in a rotation, he's such a different look. Tall ass, high release point. So I know the money doesn't probably make sense because some team's going to pay him to be there 2. Maybe 1, depending on the team. Probably 2. And the Yankees can't pay him that much in that many years to be the 4 or 3.
Yeah, and it's I think when you talk about reality of it, that Monty's been on 3 teams in the past 2 years, and the other 2 teams seem like they're ahead of the Yankees in bringing Monty back. Won the World Series with the Texas Rangers. St. Louis loved him. Their season was just bad, and they need starting pitching really badly.
Yeah.
But it feels like...
Well, he said some stuff about coming back, that he loves New York. You know, just like the boss, but you like all your old coworkers, so you go hang out.
If any agent would advise their client to rule out the Yankees...
Oh, yeah. Monty's
Monty's
not quick enough to be playing games like that.
That was his agent talking.
Yeah. Anyway. All right, so... You like Erod as the value. Do you like any of the other? I mean, I don't think Stroman's an option. If they gave Sonny Gray 3 years, are you excited about that? I could talk myself into that. Be like, yes, let's right our wrong.
Hey man, I was one of the last people driving the Sonny Gray bus. I didn't want to trade him. It looked like there were signs that it was coming, and in general, it was a small sample size, and he's kind of gone on to prove that. So, I don't know. I mean, obviously, it's one of those, office gif of them all holding the gun at each other. Like, if that somehow goes haywire, I mean, everyone's eating it. That you're probably right. There's a lot of proud people involved, whether it's Cashman, whether it's Hal, whether it's Sonny, that it seems like they're going to have opportunities elsewhere. But what if they don't? Sonny's been linked to the Braves. What if they go out and trade for one of the trade candidates that are coming up? Like, if they're out on Sonny and, the Twins are supposedly cutting payroll, so he doesn't want to go back there. Like, if there's, I don't know, at a certain point, it becomes a business again, and there'd be a lot of people looking at each other like, do you want this? And I know Sonny Gray, he's kind of got the small stature, especially when he was on the Yankees. Like, that was peak, big, massive Yankees, like Dellin Betances rolling through. Those kind of times. Sonny Gray, like, remember CeCe had his podcast, like, he was a quarterback, like, Sonny Gray, like, CeCe Sabathia, who will not go out of his way to fib for anyone, was like, Sonny Gray is such a guy. He was a quarterback. Like, he's the man. That if it happens, I think we all look at each other like, whoo, the 2024 party just got a little more exciting.
Yeah.
But it deserves to be respected who he has been as a major league pitcher.
If that happens, the Yankees paid more. Because if you're Sonny Gray, why would you want to, unless you really, like, you had, like, a chip on your shoulder, like, no, I want to go there and, like, prove. Like, I don't want that to be, like, any storyline. Oh, good pitcher. Like, I don't want New Yorkers to be able to say, oh, good pitcher, but he couldn't handle it here. Like, he would have to really want to erase that narrative. I don't think he cares that much about that at all, if at all. I think he's like, I'll just go to Atlanta or Chicago and just continue writing my own story. That I'm.
You never know, though, right? Like, sometimes athletes are wired that way. Like, if that's the one black guy on his career.
That's what it would take, and the Yankees to also miss on all the other guys.
So, couple things, couple quick Sonny notes. He finished second in the Cy Young Nicole this year.
Yeah.
Second. So that's what Sonny Gray was doing this year. And then bringing things into perspective, wherever Sonny Gray's contract lands, let me see where he's projected. Sonny Gray is projected 3 for 63, $21 million a year. Depending, I think with history involved, and this is where I can be honest enough with the people, like if you told me Sonny and whatever his contract lands and Monty and whatever his contract lands, I would lean Monty. Like, it's going to be a chunk more of money, But with everything considered, that's where I'd be.
Okay. I like that. A lot of Yankees fans are going to not like that. That's kind of it as far as like impact arms go. And then we do have some on the trade market. Do we have another?
We sure do, Jim, because gobble gobble. There's some big NFL football coming up this weekend, Thanksgiving and the first ever Black Friday game. How about that? There's a commercial for that last night, and Jess said, "Oh, thank God." And I said, "Yeah, we need it. We need more." And if you bet $5 on NFL action to score 150 instantly in bonus bets at the DraftKings Sportsbook. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use code YANKS. New customers can bet $5 on the NFL Thanksgiving action to score 150 instantly in bonus bets only on DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. With code YANKS, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. In West Virginia, visit www.1800gambler.net. Please play responsibly. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, Kansas must be 21 or older in most eligible states, but ages vary by jurisdiction. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details and state-specific gambling resources. Eligibility and deposit restrictions apply. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. Terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/football terms. Trade.
I don't see them trading. I'll say this. I don't see them trading for any of these guys.
Okay.
I don't see them using trade capital to get a pitcher when there's so many guys already talked about. But say somehow the Yankees are like, nope, we really like our offense. We're going to add Kiermaier, and that's all. And then they have trade market ability to go get people. These are some of the ones they might be looking at.
Yeah, and I think the creativity has to come back out a little bit, because when we're talking free agent contracts and Yamamoto and opt-outs here, or extra year option if he gets Cy Young votes in 2 years, I don't know. Like, all of those things are on the table. I think for the Yankees, what comes on the table here is, are they trying to do more work at once? Like, if, say, the Milwaukee Brewers are trying to go full clean slate, Christian Yelich, who was looked at as a depreciating assets and kind of one of the lesser contracts in baseball, he just had a nice year. He has 5 years, $130 million remaining on his contract. Do the Brewers view that kind of like we've seen the Yankees before, when Brian Cashman has an asset that regains its powers? Will they move off of that? Like, can they go clear slate in Milwaukee and reset? And that's, they move Corbin Burns and they move Christian Yelich as a part of that. The prospect package then becomes lesser because you're taking on the 5/130. Like, that's, for a lot of these guys, something like that would have to be in play. And I think for two of them, I kind of see routes there. The other one would be Dylan Cease with the White Sox. He has 2 years remaining. He's in arbitration, looking at 8.3 mil next year. The wild card there, I have to get into contracts a little more. There's Benintendi, who the Yankees didn't want to give that contract to, and that contract's not looking great. That's a fun one for you.
Be acquiring the years they didn't want.
The other one I want to double check really quickly. Yon Moncada is owed $25 million next year, and then has a team option for $25 million the year after that. Moncada has had a tough couple years. His 2022 was brutal. Last year, he ended up more around league average than I remembered, but he was also hurt and missed some time. So, again, that trade would be the White Sox clearing Yon Moncada for, I think, $30 million, because that second year has a $5 million team buyout, and then you're getting Dylan Cease. So, if you're one of the Yankees looking to get into creative GMing, the trade market is for you.
And Cease, of the four options here, is the one that's multiple years of the stud pitcher. The other guys are 1 year.
I like making packages like, Cease and Moncada, third base and starting pitcher. Done.
Switch hitting third baseman.
And starting pitcher for a couple years. Off season, done. How do you feel?
Offseason done. No way, Pop.
Offseason done.
No way,
And
Pop.
Kiermaier.
I need outfielders.
And Kiermaier, offseason done. How do you feel?
Not great.
Not great.
Not great. You still need an impact bat.
I feel like we did
I could
IKF
see it.
Donaldson all over again.
You need an
At least Moncada hits the way with the handedness we like.
with the only one-person solution for the Yankees offense is a Hall of Fame young hitter in his prime. Like one of the best
Entering it.
young left-handed hitters the sport has ever seen. That's the only singular cure to the Yankees lineup.
All right, let me hit you with a worse one.
Okay.
All right. The Rays will probably trade Glasnow.
Sure.
They trade pitchers at this point a lot. The Yankees and Rays probably not going to trade with each other, but how about this?
How about this little
Yankees trade for Glasnow and Margot. They get their outfielder and their starting pitcher. Offseason finished. How do you feel?
So I love Glasnow as a pitcher and a person. I would be very disappointed with the Yankees offense. Supremely disappointed with the Yankees offense.
You wouldn't like that.
I wouldn't like that.
Okay. I'd be mad. Would you like Cease and Moncada over that?
Oh, I'm mad.
Cease, Moncada, Benintendi, package deal.
Oh, all three, huh?
All three.
I wouldn't be satisfied with that.
Wow.
I wouldn't be satisfied with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think I agree.
Yeah. Just Cease Moncada I would like more than
You either
just
need
Glasnow Margot.
Juan Soto or three different hitters.
All right.
And like kind of like realistically, like Soto and one more would be great.
I will say
I
this.
could live with just Soto.
And some Yankee fans probably won't be about this. I don't see it happening, but if Yoan Moncada ended up a Yankee, I could talk myself into him. I think he just needs to wash the White Sox off a little bit. That whole org was messy, but he's like an on-base guy when he's right, a switch-hitting third baseman.
I think the glove is similar to Candelario. I think he's become solid enough over there.
But that would have to come with Dylan Cease, the really good pitcher.
2 years of a really good pitcher.
Yeah.
Okay, what about Shane Bieber and
I tried to find who the dump would be on that team. I put
Well-
notes in there. The one I found, everything I looked at, I was like, oh, immediately more unlikely.
Shane Bieber and Andres Jimenez. And you got to do that, you probably got to give up Peraza and Wells
And
Yeah.
and more.
you're taking money off Cleveland's hands. They're fine with.
I'm trying to
they're fine
replace
with
Jimenez's years.
Yeah, I mean, Jimenez
Peraza.
just won the Platinum Glove. Like,
Yeah.
his values.
And he's got a
I know
lot
he
of
didn't hit
years.
as much as they wanted, but
But his contract is loaded on the back end, so they're going to try and get rid of him at some point, probably in 3 years.
oh yeah.
They really did load it up on the back end. My
Yeah, he's
goodness.
making 23 a year for the last 3
What
years.
the hell is that, Cleveland?
I
Well,
think
they're gonna
I think
trade
some,
that.
Some of the years of this extension.
Yeah, but that's
are,
not good.
Some
Like,
of the
that's-
years. Some of the years of this extension are like his RB.
Jake,
It's like a goof contract.
Not their problem. They will trade that.
But it will be their problem because you have to trade
that
them.
makes
They'll
trading
find
hard.
someone desperate enough.
Like normally you look at those and you're like, wow, he's only going to make $12 million in 2028. Like he's getting paid.
Um,
So what do you see? What are the tea leaves showing you?
nothing.
Okay.
I wouldn't. I don't. None of those moves could be the move. You know, if you make a move to get Glasnow for a year or Bieber for a year, you have to do a lot else.
I've full ruled out Glass now. Like
Yeah,
I
I
think
don't
the
think
Yankees and Rays don't.
I think
do
it's gonna
that.
happen.
I don't think so.
Bieber as well. I don't think that's gonna happen.
I could see the Yankees
What could
really
they
liking
o-
Shane Bieber
but,
because
like,
they're
what-
boring.
But the Yankees don't have much
be
to
a crazy
offer a
cost.
team that's not looking. Actually, I was going to say for MLB ready
Cleveland.
talent, but
Yeah.
Cleveland always wants MLB talent ready. Like they'd take Clark Schmidt and think they could turn him into Bieber. Maybe they
Yeah.
could.
Yeah, we've been saying for a year. This is when Cleveland trades guys. We're really there now.
Yeah, it is Bieber and Glasnow like get traded season. But none of those. I mean, they work for me, but they can't be like big moves. Like that means the Yankees offseason would need to be like 4 different moves, and I think the Yankees would much rather solve their problem in 2 moves. Yamamoto.
Yeah, I guess that's where I get slightly nervous about some of the options I just threw out there. Is those trade options? Is the 2 birds while getting stoned?
That's why I get nervous about like the Cease Moncada one. I was like, no. That sounds like IKF Donaldson. Like, yeah, you're making your move, but you're not making your move.
The part that's concerning about any of these being like the big trade, even if you're getting like I comboed Corbin Burns and Devin Williams in one of these mock-ups, and that would be awesome, but to do a trade that big, it feels like you have to know you're not trading for Soto also, because doing 2 big trades in one offseason is really hard. So that would be the other side of that pill. But
Ryan McMahon and Kyle Freeland. Boom.
You like that?
Not really.
Okay.
But that feels... Well, I like the McMahon part. Sorry, Kyle Freeland. But
Yamamoto. Do the known good moves. Don't try to get cute.
they're going to be in it till the end with Yamamoto. I am worried about how that affects the rest of their offseason.
Do you think that
Yamamoto.
the other big pitchers there that are getting big money, big AAV, the ones we talked about, will sign after Yamamoto? Unless it's like Snell to
No.
San Francisco or Seattle. I don't. Seattle's
he's
like
kind of his
This-
own thing. Nola's
This
set
free
their
agency,
markets.
everything feels like its own thing. Like Nola was like old, reliable starting pitcher, has performed at a high level before. Okay. Snell has performed at the highest level, but it's an ugly style of pitching, and there's just what is this? What is this, Reggie? Like I don't know. And then Yamamoto's kind of his own deal. Like he gets posted. There's 45 days to do it. Like they're almost separating in their own worlds that I don't
Gotta
think.
keep them separated.
Yeah. Good tune.
Okay. The Yankees did make a move recently.
Yeah. Why
Technically,
Rob?
a few we haven't talked about them.
Yeah, we didn't do like the non-tender
Clean
follow up. Albert Abreu out.
Well,
Lou Trevino out.
yeah, everyone kind of saw that one coming.
Anthony Misovich out.
Nothing shocking has happened.
And nothing with the catchers.
Catchers are still currently 6 there.
So, who did they sign? What's his name? The reliever from the Pirates?
The
Yeri Rodriguez.
Yeri Rodriguez.
I think it's
Yes.
just
Not to be
Yeri
confused
Yeri
with-
De Los Santos.
Yes. Yeri.
There is a Yeri Rodriguez who has
Pronounced
same amount
Yeri?
of service time.
They're pronouncing it Yeri on Baseball
Yeri.
Reference. He's a reliever that's been with the Pirates for the last 2 seasons. Pitching, he's a big sinker guy, so another Clay Holmes,
Pirates.
Awfully
Sinker.
similar scouting report.
And where's he been pitching? Like,
In games.
yeah, majority came in the 8th inning, but only a couple in like hold opportunities.
Pirates only have so many of them.
Yeah, 6 outings in the 5th inning, 3 in the 6th, 0 in the 7th. Doesn't like that at all. But he only pitched the first half of the year, and then he got hurt. So I don't know what his injury was. So he's coming off injury? I guess. That wasn't mentioned anywhere that I read earlier.
Might have been sent down 23 games in AAA this year.
Yankees.
Hasn't been explicitly reported, but minor league deal.
Oh, it's a minor league deal?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it's Yeri De Los Santos.
He's 25 years old. He was born December 12th, 1997. He was born in Samana. He's 6'2", 210 pounds, and he's a pitcher. 18 strikeouts last season. Those are the Spark Notes. Okay. You'll get him, Yeri.
Come up and twirl it.
Seems like a fun toy.
Anything else that we missed from non-tender or anything?
Jake Bauers.
Oh, yeah, they traded Jake Bauers to the Brewers. I actually loved that move, man, because we sat here on the show, and I said, if they give him this money to still be on the roster, that means they think there's a chance they don't do that much with the roster that they need him. And then you said he played first base, so that might happen. I thought, yeah, that is a decent point. Like, he is a little more versatile than I remember. But I am happy that they didn't just like DFA him or non-tender him. He goes to a team. They get 2 players in return, because I was going to be fine if they non-tendered him. Nothing against Bauers. I hope he's successful with the Brewers, but I need new guys. Like, even the fringe, when someone gets hurt, I can't have Stanton get hurt next year and Bauers is the first one up. You just need new first ones up.
Yeah.
Altogether.
His best case, when your best case scenario is last spot on the bench, coming off of last year, we kind of got to get away.
Yeah.
Like, very rude to say, but like for the Yankees, having that roster spot is more valuable than having Jake Bauers. I liked some things I saw.
Hit 18 homers for the Brewers next year. Why not?
And just a closing note, this tweet came out 4 hours ago. 50-year-old Ichiro pitched a complete game against a high school girls all-star team. He went 9 innings pitched, 5 hits, 0 earned runs, 2 walks, 9 Ks, 116 pitches, topped out at 86 miles per hour on the mound, recorded 2 hits at the plate.
Yankee.
I don't understand why we're not doing this more. Show me Roger Clemens versus girls high school team. Get ugly? I mean, Ichiro diced him up. 9 innings pitched, 0 earned runs.
Yeah, but Ichiro's tasteful. When Rocky lost,
Bartolo Colon.
Roger Clemens threw a bat at Mike Piazza.
Those were the old days. Why do you keep bringing up old shit?
Yeah.
People can change.
I do that.
Go Yanks. Tell them, Grams.
Go Yankees.